typically in voice acting, the actors are not voice acting together. Was there ever
Correct.
Was there ever a case where there was in the?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it was a device I utilized in Hitorijime My Hero. You're absolutely right. Usually when we do this, the actor is alone in the booth, and the only other people there are the director and the engineer in the control room.
Mm-hmm.
So we record by ourselves, and we go through each episode or each show, and we go through the chunks of the script where our lines are, and we record there. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we move on. And sometimes the other actor has already recorded, so you'll have them in your headphones. Sometimes they haven't, so you'll have Japanese in your headphones, So it's a very singular experience usually. And I didn't use this device. I haven't used this device again yet, but I used it in Hitorijime My Hero because I felt that Hitorijime My Hero was a very sort of street level story. There was very little heightened. There weren't a bunch of little like chibi moments, and it wasn't a very heightened story. It was a very naturalistic and organic tale, and so I wanted the ADR, I wanted the acting to come at it from that same angle. So actually, something that I did was I split off the major scenes, like the scenes where the stakes were really high, between either the pair of Asuya and Kensuke, or the pair Masahiro and Kosuke. And for those scenes, we recorded the actors together in the booth, which was a bit of a logistical nightmare for our poor engineer, Brent Marshall. But he juggled it like a champ. And so we recorded those actors standing shoulder to shoulder in the booth. And they weren't able to look at one another because they had the script and the video in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
But, I can tell you from my experience as an actor in both theater and on camera work and in voice work, to be in proximity to another actor, to be in proximity to a body at all when you're saying something that makes you vulnerable, it really can galvanize a performance. And in the case of these two pairings, it was just this cosmic alignment of the planets, because these two pairs you had David Matranga and Austin Tyndall, and both of these guys are like theater pros, right? Like they're prolific actors on stage and quite accomplished. And so being together in the room with one another while they were acting is sort of natural and organic to them. So they were able to turn in incredible refinement and really sort of feed off that presence of one another and turn in these incredibly understated and authentic and organic performances. Meanwhile, on the other side of the spectrum, you had Damon and Alejandro as Asuya and Kensuke, who I called Kenny.
Of course.
Everybody gets pet names. It had to happen.
Right.
And those guys, both of them have done theater before, but they're not like, they're not regular theater pros. You know what I mean? That's not really their bag. So working together like that in the booth was a very new experience for them. They'd certainly never done it in anime, and they'd probably done it in like a high school play or something.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, Damon and Alejandro are really, really like good friends. They're really tight, right? So you also have this sort of added level of discomfort when you have two buddies, even though they're actors and they're professionals and they're fine and there wasn't a lot of girlish giggling going on. But you have these two old buddies like talking to one another about how much they love each other. So you had this sort of sense of discomfort, of awkwardness that really informed those scenes.